That's the only thing.
Have a nice life.
Yes.
Have a nice life, Bob.
Have a nice life. He does that at the end of some of these videos where he throws something in at the end.
Do we
it's
have
like,
Mr. Potter
just in case
saying-
you're not paying attention.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in jail.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yes,
Good luck,
exactly.
Bob. Are we not at jetpacks made of beef? This is like
We
the thing
really
you always
are.
say that he's about to promise everybody.
I swear to God, it's just around the corner. You can smell it coming. Like at any second, he's going to say, okay, everyone gets a car of their choice and a jetpack
Beautiful
made
home.
of beef.
He did. Last week he said
Beautiful home.
everyone's going to get a beautiful home and a car of their choice.
I mean, he literally said that. He promised a house and a car to everyone.
I would like a. Did you say Bentley?
I said a
think you
Bentley with
yeah.
suicide doors. That's
Sure.
a convertible.
Yeah.
I'd love one of those.
Yeah. How about it, Chris? You want a Ferrari? What do you need?
Sure, why not?
Sure. Bob,
And by
what
the
can I get you?
By the way, the jetpack's made of beef, made with authentic Trump steaks from the Sharper Image stores.
Absolute best place to buy a steak in a mall.
That's, you know what? That's the thing I always go back to every time one of Donald Trump's cons comes up, like
Yes.
these NFTs or whatever. I go back to the Trump steaks where this is a Trump idea. Okay, we're going to sell meat in the same store where they sell the back massagers in a mall, you know, because everyone goes to the shopping mall to buy their meats, their quality meats.
Well, what do you think Hickory Farms is for?
That's true. I forgot about
cheese.
Hickory Farms,
Uh-huh.
but at least they're only there
By the way,
temporarily. He
right.
thought,
Have you
okay,
seen the clip? Jody, you have to find it. I forgot.
Which
one of my
one?
friends sent it to me. It's Martha Stewart and Joan Rivers cooking steak, Trump steak. I think it's Trump
Oh,
steak.
God.
And she's like, I
yeah.
can't eat Donald Trump. Is this really? And I think she said to someone,
What did you think the steak was made of Donald Trump?
right,
Like
and that's
Donald
what she
Trump's
said. She goes, you
donating
can't
parts
slaughter
of
Donald
his
Trump.
wealth.
And Martha Stewart just so dryly goes, too bad. Yeah, they're cooking Trump steak. It's a cooking segment somewhere. It's hilarious. All right,
He
well,
says
we
in the
appreciate
commercial.
we
he said in the
appreciate
commercial
him
when it comes-
offering, telling us to have a nice life, and we would like to wish him.
Guess what? We're saying Merry Christmas again.
Happy New Year to you in jail.
Okay, and we will be over here having a nice,
Right.
good life.
Nice
Yeah.
life. Have a nice life.
Doesn't he
As you
always
can
say
see,
that at the
my-
most inappropriate times? Like Puerto Rico's completely a disaster area. He's like, have fun, enjoy everybody. Enjoy
Yeah,
your
exactly.
paper
Like
towels."
he did one of those rants about how Democrats want to kill babies after
Yeah.
they're born, and then he finishes it by saying, "Have a good time. Have a good time."
Everybody have a good time.
Like, what is? I mean, I'm not making that up. That's not a joke. That's actually something he said at the end of one of his videos. Like, who's he telling to have what?
Yeah.
Who's having a good time? Why?
It's fantastic.
Doesn't
Yeah.
make any sense. But
Oh,
they
dear
love
God.
it. The Red Hats love it. Yeah.
Bob, you and I joke about idiocracy all the time on our shows, and I literally did not. That's the one time I thought this is not real. He's not selling pieces of his suit that he wore for the mugshot. But you know that it's probably not even pieces of that suit anyway. They're just. But this grift
Yeah.
apparently will go on forever. Like even
Right.
MAGAs who died, they'll make sure their kids still have to donate.
Right.
I don't.
You
anyway.
know, this is the finest indication that he's broke, that he
Yes.
has to do all of these things. I mean, these are the sorts of things that a celebrity will do after they've had to file Chapter 7 or something like that.
Right.
They're in trouble with the IRS, so they need to quickly raise some money to pay off the IRS, something like that. Donald Trump claims to be a billionaire, that he's got $9 billion, and that now he has to sell pieces of his suit and NFTs to make ends meet. It's like Don Jr. having to schlep himself over to Rumble or whatever it is, because
Yes.
as billionaires often do, you need a
I
you
just.
need a steady income.
I just don't know what to say
It's a
anymore.
giant con.
I-
So
but-
many suckers in this country.
And there's so many disgraceful days, Bob, in this era of Trump and Trumpism and this Republican Party. But today, they're having this voting on impeachment based on absolutely nothing, even according to Steve Ducey on Fox News and other
Yeah.
Republicans who've been quoted over and over saying they have absolutely nothing. They're interviewing Hunter Biden behind closed doors, and voting down aid for Ukraine.
Yeah.
It is hard to think of a more like disgraceful trifecta day, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you're a party that's now all about just feeding red meat, Trump steaks in the form of Trump steaks, to your
Political Trump
audience, That's what it's become. And the Republicans live in this or exist in this information silo. And so therefore, they can feed anything to their disciples that they want to, and the disciples will believe it. For example, Hunter Biden and Joe Biden committed all these crimes, and therefore yada, 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 impeachment. And so there's obviously no evidence there. If you really look at the information, there's nothing that they've got on Joe Biden that's it's all incriminating anywhere in the vicinity of any sort of crimes. And yet all the people, all the disciples, all the red hats just suck it down like Coca-Cola. They just love it so much, and they don't need the details. They don't need the information. This is Trump's MO. This is what he was doing with Zelensky. Don't worry about Burisma. Don't worry about an actual investigation.
Yeah.
We'll take care of the rest.
But Bob, in
is
terms
something
of
Trump has said. Yeah.
actual facts, I have no idea. Jody yesterday brought us, we had sound bites of, them talking about how great the economy is on Fox News. I mean, you wonder are we inching towards some common set of facts? I saw an economist this morning talking about how, inflation has come down far faster than anyone expected. This economy is doing incredibly well, but once again said Joe Biden's not getting credit for it. And it's,
right.
But I just wonder, I wonder if these idiots watch Fox News and hear Jason Chaffetz say he paid $90 for a turkey. Do they really think?
They believe it.
Oh, everybody's paying $90 for their turkey. Do they? But they
Even
just,
if they didn't.
But they just paid $20. They know they just paid $20 for a turkey. They know turkeys aren't $90 unless you're some organic
Bougie.
soy boy woke
Yeah.
liberal.
Well, I mean, once again, there is no substance to any of these attacks. These are merely attacks based on the fact that all the people that have been suckered by Donald Trump and been suckered by Trumpism will continue to repeat these things, knowing that they're untrue, because the entire thrust of this movement, the Trump movement, is not to be right on everything. It's simply to win. That's it, the entire message. The entire idea is, well, whatever it takes to come out on top, and that's all that matters. Be the last person sitting in that game of musical chairs, and then shut the door behind, lock the door, make sure no one else takes over after that. That's the entire goal.
Yeah, I was saying yesterday, Bob, my girlfriend talks to maggots for some reason for her business. But just the whole, Biden's old, but Biden's old. Biden's old, but Biden's he's demented. And again, eyes, ears. I just saw him yesterday with Zelensky. Guy is as sharp as a tack. Is he, again, he had a stutter, so he speaks a little more slowly and deliberately, but I see him riding his bike. Can you do a standing leg stretch? I don't think I can without falling over.
Oh, no, absolutely. Not without falling over. I mean, I would immediately fall over doing that.
Right.
Yeah,
but I mean, I don't, that's the thing. It's just, they're good at repetition. We're not good at repetition, are we, Jody?
No, we don't repeat ourselves
We're not good
ever.
at repetition,
No,
are we,
we're
Chris?
I don't think we're good at
That's the
repetition.
problem.
No, we're terrible at
But
repetition.
they repeat it over and over again. That Biden's old, and meanwhile, this big bag of trans fats is 3 years younger and in horrible shape. So what? Go ahead.
I mean, I've said this on my show a bunch of times, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself. But the fact of the matter is that we've seen zero reports in the press about Joe Biden being out of touch, Joe Biden falling asleep during cabinet meetings, Joe Biden not engaged in policy discussions. These are reports that we're not seeing at all. And we know for a fact that if that were actually happening, if Joe Biden was, for example, falling asleep in cabinet meetings, as we've seen from previous presidents before, that would be something that the press would never shut the F up about. It would be constant wall-to-wall, front-page headlines, Joe Biden falls asleep in cabinet meeting. That hasn't happened. And if it did, again, we would see leaks. We would see reports about this. We would see endless garment rending on cable news about, oh, God, Joe Biden. Oh, are you kidding me? He fell asleep during a cabinet meeting. That's not happening. It's just not. There's no indication that his age is affecting his job.
My girlfriend
and that's a
said,
fact.
one of them said, well, but Trump, he speaks with such conviction and energy. I'm like, so did Hitler. So did most liars. Like congenital liars. I'm sorry. I have something that's come across my the Supreme Court will hear a case involving access to mifepristone, a drug used in more than half of U.S. abortions.
Yeah.
Pardon me, Bob.
Yeah, I'm hearing that. Yeah. We just have lost sight in this country of what it means to be a strong and decent leader. I think Donald Trump has skewed that perspective way off into some other territory where we feel as though, well, the president isn't in our living room 24/7, so he must be doing something wrong. I mean, that's that's the damage of Trumpism.
Cult. I mean,
Yeah.
the suit, it's like they're buying pieces of the Shroud of Turin. I mean,
That's exactly what it is. That's
Right?
exactly what it is. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, genuine slivers of the cross.
Yep.
yeah. Yes.
Remember those things? Yeah. Like someone's out there just got a
don't
piece
laugh
of the
because
cross.
things you say as a joke to happen. I'm now selling the cross that Jack Smith crucified me on. It's the authentic cross that I was crucified on.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah. Wasn't there a movie? There was a movie in the 80s where someone was just had a baseball bat and they were just carving off pieces of it and selling it as chunks of the cross. It was Jim Belushi or something like that. I forget what movie that was.
So-
I'm sure I'll hear about it on Twitter now.
On
So
this Biden is old thing. Lana tweets, don't like Biden because he's old. How would you like pregnant women and girls to have to show proof of rape or incest if they want an abortion after 6 weeks? How would you like to have 2 doctors certify your life or your loved one's life is at risk before an abortion can be performed? Still don't want to vote because Biden's old? How'd you like to watch you or your loved one's baby take its first breath and last breath because of abortion bans? How'd you like to watch a raped 10-year-old go to elementary school pregnant? Stop playing with our lives. This ain't cute. Get registered and get ready. I mean, you know, that's the thing, Bob. You hate to have to, all of these real life stories that we knew were going to happen after Roe fell, of course, I think are going to be a huge driver to the polls. But even that sounds crass to say. You know, we have to walk across the bodies of all these women to try to regain some sanity in this country.
yeah. I mean, I actually, on my show yesterday, I called for a revolt in this country where women just take over everything. I think we'd be so much better off. Because, I mean, the atrocity in the Kate Cox situation in Texas with the Texas Supreme Court isn't so much that the decision they handed down. The atrocity there is that Kate Cox had to go to the Texas Supreme Court in the first place, beg to have normal health care, and obviously begging a panel of judges in which 6 of them are men who have no concept whatsoever what it means to have a medical condition that is potentially deadly, which pregnancy is. As soon as you're pregnant, there's a chance that pregnancy could kill you. And that is the distinguishing factor that I think gets lost in this conversation a whole lot, which is that, you know, women who are pregnant have this potentially deadly medical condition that they should have the purview to be able to ameliorate if they wanted to.
Someone had a great analogy.
It's that basic.
Bob, that not, you know, forget Handmaid's Tale. They went back to witch burning and said, you know, they used to throw a woman in a lake, and if she, you know, if she
Floated.
drowned, that means she's innocent, right?
Right.
She floats, she's a witch. And, you know, they're saying that's what this is. If, you know, a woman has a, you know, a life-threatening condition, if she dies, that means, you know,
She was right.
yeah. That means that she really, you know, did have a you know, under a, what do you call it, factor that would allow abortion. But, you know, really, this is where we're at. You know, women have to die to prove that they have a, you know, a medical exception reason, as if, you know, as if women should need one. It's just the whole thing is just horrifying, Bob.
Yeah, I mean, think about it this way. Think about the level of outrage and revolt that was happening among certain, like, pro-science, pro-libertarian men when the vaccines were being debated in this country, and how, you know, that entire crowd was ready to, well, in many cases they actually did, where there were protests, there was some violence and so forth about the vaccine mandates and the mask mandates. Now, if women would only do that about their reproductive rights. And
well, for instance,
really,
your girlfriend Kimberly Johnson already had an angry vagenda of manicide. I can only imagine how much angry it's got. Does she take it out on you? Is it hate sex in the refrigerator now, just on behalf of all mankind?
Yes, sadly it is. Very, very painful. I've got this kink in my neck now that I just can't get rid of because
good.
But you know what? She's ready. She's ready to lead the revolt, and she can't even get pregnant anymore. So it's like she's ready to go, and no one is safe except.
I can't get pregnant for so many reasons, Bob. First of all, it's a vast wasteland where no man's seed can find purchase.
Well, you just turned 42,
Age,
so it
you know,
happens.
and also, once again, my abhorrent personality. If it weren't for my lesbianism and my dusty eggs, so many reasons. However,
and your photos from the 70s.
Yes,
Oh,
and any
yeah.
photograph. of
Those
me.
unfortunate photos.
Bob, my point is, I am right there with Kimberly. I'm ready to serve.
Yeah. Whenever I hear about your dusty eggs, I just think of like an egg in your hand, and you just go,
Oh,
and you
Chris
just
does the
blow
impression.
dust off, and it makes a little
Hang
cloud.
on.
Yeah.
No, here's her putting forth an egg.
Oh, that's me too.
I like to give him that opportunity once every few months. All right, Bob.
It's fun, but it's also sad. It's also
Yeah.
It's horrible, as is everything these days. The Bob Cesca Show is the only antidote to all your troubles. I listen to it all the time. Love you, Bob. SexyLiberal.com.
Oh, good.
Bye,
Now I
nerd.
can take off this sweater.
Yes, you can.
I'm sweating and sweating and
I'm
sweating.
literally sending it to
Okay.
Mark Hamill because you are a nerd.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. 51 minutes after the hour. This portion of the show brought to you by Heat Holders. Oh, I got to send Bob.